Welcome back to Hump Day Hormones. Today we are talking about something often that women notice before they even realize that they're in perimenopause, and that is changes in your skin. So many women tell us that their skin suddenly feels drier, more sensitive, less firm, harder to manage than ever before. The truth is that declining estrogen affects far more than our hot flashes and our periods, and it has a major impact on the skin health as well. Joining us today is Susan Campbell. She is the founder of Phosis, a skincare line specifically designed for perimenopausal and menopausal skin. She has an award-winning brand that was recognized by Oprah's Daily Menopause Awards, and she uses clean, plant-based ingredients to support and restore the skin barrier during this hormonal transition. So today we are going to discuss the science of aging skin, the role that hormones play in skin health, and then Susan's specific journey as an entrepreneur to create this exciting brand and behind the scenes stories on Oprah and a possible Shark Tank experience. So this is all just so exciting. Stay tuned. Welcome to Hump Day Hormones. I am Dr. Jill Jennings, a board-certified OBGYN and Menopause Society certified practitioner.
And I'm Courtney Spann, a nurse practitioner. We work at the Women's Clinic in Little Rock, Arkansas, on the campus of Baptist Health. We are here to talk about all things female hormone related, from puberty to menopause and everything in between. We are here to inform you from a medical point of view about the latest scientific evidence in the world of hormones.
You can find us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, as well as YouTube as Hump Day Hormones. And you can email us your questions or topics for the show at humpdayhormones@gmail.com. We just wanted to have a quick little disclaimer that everything we talk about here is for informational and supportive purposes only, and this is not medical advice, as we are not your provider. Your body is unique, and so be sure to chat with your healthcare provider before making any changes to your healthcare routine. Welcome back. This is season 2, episode 75. We are so excited. So Courtney is not here today. She is in Turks and Caicos with her family on summer vacay, but I am here with Susan Campbell, and she is the founder of Phosis. So we're so excited to have her. Y'all know when I do this podcast and we talk about vitamin D or DHEA or whatever product or supplement or whatever we're talking about, I usually make it a big deal that I don't promote specific brands, because I don't want people to think I'm some sort of influencer who's telling you to use something just because I make money off of it, because I don't. And so I want you to kind of buy into things because you get the science behind them and why you need them. And so it is sort of off my brand a little bit that we have an actual brand on our show, but I think it's just so cool. And I think there's so much kind of science behind it. And I think it's so interesting to know, the whole entrepreneur, how did you totally just create this? You saw a problem, you created a solution and created an entire product. And I just think that is all so amazing, that we had to have Susan on here. So, she is friends with Dr. Hernsberger. She's neighbors and friends. Yeah, with Dr. Hernsberger. He was the ear, nose, and throat specialist that was on our podcast a while back. And so that's how we kind of got connected, is that her and Dr. Hernsberger were talking. So just start with your story. Just tell us why you created Phosis and the background and all that.
Of course. Well, first, Jill, thanks so much for having me here today. I'm excited to be here. And I actually have a fairly diverse background. I have an MFA in metalsmithing and jewelry design. So I'm a formally trained jeweler, but I also have spent the past 25 years teaching therapeutic yoga and Pilates. I own my own studio in town, and I do a lot of rehabilitative work for people that need hip replacements or are recovering from hip replacement or something that precludes them from going to a traditional yoga or a Pilates class or a group scenario. But I decided when I was in my early 40s, I realized that my skin was starting to really change. And so that is what started my whole interest in what is actually happening to the skin.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely have had those moments where you like stare in the mirror and you're like, what is that? I didn't used to have all these spots on my skin and I didn't used to have all these wrinkles. Or like, I have definitely had the moments where I look down at my hands and I'm like, those are my mother's hands. Like,
right. The spots, the hyperpigmentation, of course. Yeah. And for me, the changes were subtle at first. So I didn't necessarily connect it with perimenopause. I think for me, it was like, oh, my skin feels a little bit drier or a little bit tighter, or I have a bit of a weird rash this morning. And I'm not really sure what this is. But for me, it progressed to the point where my skin got very itchy. And especially I would have these spots on my legs and I would be itching them to the point where they would bleed. Yeah. It was really bad. And I thought, I don't understand what's happening and I don't know what to do about it.
And was this before or after you, because you are a menopause coach,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know about hormones. Did this happen like after that or were you already?
It happened before. Mm-hmm. It happened before where I just didn't even think I was in perimenopause. Mm-hmm. And, I was still cycling every month. So no physician at that time said, maybe you should consider perimenopause. I had like many women, that sort of constellation of seemingly unconnected symptoms. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of go from doctor to doctor to doctor and no one says like, hey, by the way, your hormones are changing. This is probably the root cause of a lot of these issues. Right. And that was also in part what inspired me to become a menopause coach, because I didn't understand that even some of my lifestyle choices were contributing to these symptoms.
That's right. Yeah. So what made you decide? I mean, there's just bukus of products out there. It's overwhelming, even for somebody who sort of has a science background, to walk down the aisle of Target or, I mean, good God, Sephora. You're like, I either need to buy all of this stuff or I don't know which one of these I need. So what made you feel like that you could just develop your own rather than find the exact right Sephora product for you?
Well, I was that girl who just didn't really understand skincare. I was never the person that spent a lot of time washing my skin or finding what the next trending ingredient is. I just thought you just wash your skin with soap and throw on whatever moisturizer and you're good to go. So once I started having all these problems, I didn't know where to turn. So I tried drugstore brands. Then I asked my friends. I tried what they recommended. Then I tried luxury brands. I thought, well, maybe if I just spend more money, something will get fixed. And then I went and saw my dermatologist and I was like, what is happening? What is going on? And they said, oh, you just need these drugstore brands that are specifically for sensitive skin. So I tried those and even those didn't work. Mm-hmm. So I really felt like there's something going on. I need to start researching what is happening to my skin and what can I do about it? And so I just was like, well, maybe I can just make my own skincare.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love that. And then, I mean, so was that kind of what was the moment where you like, okay, I think this is menopause related and I think I can create something different?
It was a moment of trying to find a solution that didn't exist in the marketplace. Like if you search for menopause skincare in 2019, nothing was coming up.
Yeah.
Even today, it's less common of a skincare brand.
Which is wild because, I mean, menopause is definitely having a moment.
It's having a huge moment, which is so exciting.
Right.
Finally.
Right.
But there just weren't things on there. And so in my yoga practice, I teach a lot of women that are aged 55 to 80. So a lot of them are clearly in menopause. And I would talk to them like, what do you use for your skin? What do you like? And they all said the same thing. Like, well, I'm using this thing and it's for anti-aging, but I don't really like it. I'm like, well, does it work? And they all said, no, but I don't know what else to use.
Yeah.
And someone said this was, really good, or someone, recommended it to them. And they were women, some were paying a lot of money for their skincare and some were just going to Target and buying things. Yeah. No one was really happy. So I thought there's got to be a better way.
When we were talking, before we decided to do this, I mean, when we were talking, I'm like, these were all of the things that my mom was saying too. I mean, she went through just all the different skincare regimens. And then we, for a short time, had a med spa. I was bringing her stuff from our med spa. She eventually went and got allergy tested because she just kept getting these like whelps. I mean, it was, and not something that she's always had, it was something that she was kind of developing as she got older. So I think there's definitely a need for something different, but like, what is different about Phosis?
thing about Phosis is that it was created specifically for menopausal skin. And for me, that really differentiates it from anti-aging skincare, because anti-aging skincare typically is going to be more aggressive and the active botanicals or the active ingredients and what they're using, they aren't even necessarily clean ingredients. And so a lot of those products can disrupt barrier function, which for menopausal women is at the root of having healthy skin for longevity. So for me, it was, how do we create a skincare company that really supports the biological changes in the skin first and foremost, and support it from the inside out?
Right. Because like retinol and things like that are definitely gonna, I mean, anybody who's ever used a little bit of retin A or something like that knows that it causes like your skin to be dry, sort of scale off, flake off. Definitely benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid. All of those are very harsh. And like, that's what they are trying to do, is basically disrupt your barrier.
Yes. So if you are going to apply products with those ingredients on skin that already has a weakened or disrupted barrier, you are really sort of throwing gasoline on a fire. It's important to restore the barrier first and then start looking for some of those other ingredients.
Are you wearing Phosis now? Your skin, are you wearing any makeup?
I'm wearing no makeup.
Your skin is so pretty.
Thank you.
I'm sitting right here. Y'all aren't, you can probably see on the camera,
Maybe.
but I mean, I can't even wear no makeup. I'm 45. I feel like I have to wear makeup mostly to cover like sunspots and things like that. But
I'm 51.
Yes.
And I'm wearing no makeup. And I love that
Yes.
as a 51-year-old woman, I literally get up in the morning and put on mascara and lip gloss. I'm good to go.
Well, and how like freeing and give you back that time, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. As someone who was running late this morning, I'm like, but hang on, I got this concealer under my eyes. So, I mean, we're going to have a moment for that. But yeah, I mean, your skin is great.
Thank
so you're
you.
clearly onto something. And then why the name Phosis? What does that mean?
Phosis is short for metamorphosis, because I've been so inspired by butterflies and this huge transformation that caterpillars go through. And I really thought, as I was coming into my menopausal transition, what if these were the best years of my life?
Yeah.
I really felt like society often has painted menopausal women as like, this is the end of your life. Like as your fertility
like gloom
ends,
and doom.
Yes. Like your life is over. And I really resented that messaging because I thought, why could these not be my best years? Like, yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, I maybe am not sleeping as well. And yes, my body is slowing down and I've got some brain fog and I've got some achy joints. But does that mean I should just go away? Just stop living?
Yeah.
Is that the end? And I was like, no. So all that again inspired me to become a menopause coach so I can make like proper lifestyle choices and to find the right healthcare provider that can help me with hormonal support if I needed it, and really open up to the best years of my life. So Phosis, it's of course inspired by a butterfly, and we use butterfly wings in all of our packaging.
I know, it's so pretty. We don't have, maybe we'll somehow link it on our YouTube, but her packaging is like, you did a close up into a butterfly wing or something. It's so pretty. And looks so like luxury. I mean, we've had that med spa, we've had the most expensive SkinCeuticals and Skin Better, and we've had very expensive skincare lines. And I mean, I would say compares right up to that in the packaging, and then how it feels. It feels so like soft, but not greasy.
Yes. That's the thing, is that I really wanted to come to the market with a new product and a new texture. And people are like, moisturizer is moisturizer. No, and I thought that is not true for this product. First of all, it is so thick, you cannot shake it out of a jar. There are pictures of me on my Instagram shaking this jar upside down.
Oh, that's funny.
Because women really need a different level of moisture.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I will say, like, as somebody who struggled with PCOS and sort of really oily skin, oily hair, acne, those kinds of things growing up, like I did every single product you can think of to fight the oil, like the alcohol astringent pads. What were those called? Clearasil?
Clearasil.
Yeah, those like astringent pads that burn when you put them on. Like I loved that because I felt like it was like sucking up that oil. I mean, I fought oil for a long time. And so I remember it was when we got our med spa, that it was like, wait, I'm supposed to put this vitamin C oil on my skin. This is so weird. I'm immediately going to have a face full of acne, but I'll try it. And it, never gave me acne. And I've been using your products at night.
Thank you.
I don't have any acne. And so, I mean, I think that is a hard transition too, as someone who's smack dab in the middle of perimenopause, is like kind of figuring out how to treat your skin as it changes. Like, I don't have oily skin anymore, but I was still using all my oily skin products because that's all I knew. And
they had always worked. So
yeah.
It doesn't occur to you to
right.
switch now.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, I'll use lotion when I get a dry patch on my skin. And then you close up in the mirror. Well, we built a new house and I put this mirror that kind of comes down. It's a makeup mirror and it's lighted. And I was like, oh, has my skin always looked like this? Or am I just seeing it closer? And so, and then I'm like, man, I need to start taking better care of my skin. And so, yeah, you do have to, I think, have some education in kind of what you need, though, because it is majorly different than what you do in your, for sure, teen years and 20s when you're fighting that oil and trying not to clog up pores. And now it's like, I'm not necessarily thinking about clogging them up. I just want them to look smaller and all that.
Yes. And for your moisturizer to not have disappeared by noon.
Right.
I talked to so many women that they put on their serums, they put on their moisturizers, they put on their face oil, and then they put on their makeup. And then by noon, their skin still looks cracked.
And like dewy skin is very in now. My daughter is 12. And so she's very into like every Sephora product, whether she needs it or not. And I mean, she has beautiful skin because she just she's like the opposite end of perimenopause, right? She's like before puberty. She hasn't had the hormones affect her skin yet. In like a good way. So she hasn't had the natural oils and things like that, but she puts all this stuff on her face to make it look dewy. I mean, that look is very in.
It is very in.
And I think it's very healthy looking because it's kind of this glow. But yeah, I also resent the anti-aging, just anything really that says it's going to anti-age us, because we can't not age.
This makes me so mad. Yeah. And as a consumer, I thought, who are you to tell me that like my natural aging process is not okay? Or worse, it's bad.
Yeah. Don't age.
And then the only way I can be happy is if I'm fighting this thing that cannot be stopped.
Yeah. Like, what if I just want to look like a healthy 45-year-old? Because that's what I am, and yeah.
So, and what's wrong with that?
Like, right. Yeah. I don't want to be like I was when I was in my 20s.
No.
I just think I'm a better version of myself now. But yeah, my skin can also look aged because we've got some wisdom behind that, but in a good way.
I don't mind that I have fine lines on my skin.
Right.
I should.
Right.
Like, you get to be a certain age and your skin is not going to look like it did when it's 20s. And so where are the women that say that's okay?
Yeah. But can I just have healthy enough skin that I can get up and go without makeup? That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So let's just talk about like menopause and skin changes. Like, I mean, we spend thousands of dollars on hormones, supplements, laser treatments. Like, where does skincare kind of fit in there?
For me, this was really important because teaching therapeutic yoga and Pilates for so long, I really learned the importance of strengthening muscles and bones. Why are we not strengthening our skin?
Yeah.
And so for me, skin is our largest organ. Why are we not addressing it with the same kind of intensity and focus that we are in other organs and areas of our bodies as we age?
Yeah. And I think of it like almost having your basics, your architecture, you can't, like, you wouldn't build a castle and not put a moat around it. Like that. I feel like your skincare is like your moat. I mean, you could laser, I guess, any skin, but like if it's not healthy from the inside out, then you just spent thousands of dollars on a very short-term solution. And like you can put filler in and Botox, and I mean, I love some Botox, but like, you know, at the end of the day, that's all going to wear off. And so what's the baseline architecture of your skin?
And the baseline architecture is absolutely changing as those estrogen levels are declining.
Yeah.
And so without replenishing that structure of the skin, it's not that it doesn't matter those other modalities that you use, but they're going to be less effective if you haven't addressed the foundation.
I imagine it like, this is probably a poor analogy, but like, I feel like we've all been there when we were like in college and you rent an apartment and they're like, oh, hang on, you can't move in yet. We're going to clean that up for you. And then they really just like paint, and they paint like over the light switch and over the like door stop. I mean, they just like, all they do is just take paint and like go over everything. And you're like, you didn't really clean it. In fact, there's like pet hair now painted into my wall. But I mean, it's like that. That's what I feel like if you're like lasering or using crappy skin products on your skin, is you're just trying to like somehow go over the problem. Or it's like, let's use birth control for your PCOS. That's not truly fixing the underlying root cause of the problem. And that's what we talk about up here all the time, is let's get to root cause. And so let's like, from the inside out, have good skin. And then if we still need a laser, a sunspot or two, okay. I mean, I'm not saying that's bad, but just, are you fixing your moat?
Exactly. And I would never say to anybody, don't do a laser treatment or don't use a specific product or whatever it is, because it comes down to your skin and what you're dealing with. And all women are going to be dealing with something slightly different. Yeah. And so the importance is get the foundation strong, rebuild the barrier, and then see what your skin needs.
Yeah. And I think most people don't think of like what is actually happening to our skin as far as like, that we have estrogen receptors in all those little cells of our skin. Like, I feel like people don't think about that, because we just think about estrogen and ovaries and periods and hot flashes and boobs.
Right.
You know,
even though we have estrogen receptors all throughout the body.
Yeah. And so like skin cells, keratinocytes, fibroblasts, sebaceous cells. So that's why you get drier, because you're just not as stimulated in those sebaceous glands to make the oil. Hair follicles. I don't know if everybody notices this, but you don't have to shave your legs as often and things like that. And then blood vessels, like we don't have as much actual blood flow. So we have shriveling up little like fibroblast and keratinocytes to make the collagen and things like that. And then we don't have enough blood flow to them. So even if they wanted to be more functional, so it's just like you have things going against you at multiple levels of the declining estrogen that you can't help. That's just natural. And so in the end result, it leaves skin that's thin and dry and less elastic. We talk about this all the time with the vagina. It's like the exact same thing is happening to the skin on your face.
Exact same thing is happening.
Exact same thing. And we talk about it all the time. If it is time for you to use a skincare product on your face, it is time for vaginal estrogen. And what I think is interesting is now people are starting to use their vaginal estrogen on their face.
On their face, right?
Because of all these reasons that we're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not promoting that.
Right. Well, and we were talking about this before we started recording. We really don't have a lot of data in that space.
I think it's coming. I hope it's coming. I'm looking forward to a much larger clinical trial with expert medical grading where we can really see like the before and after, where we're testing skin at baseline week 4, week 8, week 12 to really see what does estrogen do when we apply it topically to the skin. But I think that the jury is still out as of today.
Yeah. And I think the science makes sense. Yes. And I think that's why maybe people are like, oh, what the heck? I'm not going to wait on that research trial. Sure. I'm just going to slather on some estradiol or estriol on my face. It makes sense that it should restore some collagen and that natural hyaluronic acid that is our like natural sort of moisture in our skin and some of that barrier stuff. It all makes sense. And so I guess that brings up like with Phosis, I'm not really following our script. Sorry. With Phosis, have you done trials like that with Phosis?
We did do trials with Phosis, which really surprised me as a skincare entrepreneur that the FDA requires 0 testing before you go to market.
With like this over-the-counter
stuff, like for any company.
I know.
It doesn't matter.
That's crazy.
So that anybody that wants to just sell skincare, it's not tested.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be tested.
Like L'Oreal.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be tested. And so when I was building my company and I said, I want to test these products inside out, upside down to make sure they are safe,
Yes.
they are effective, they are proven, people looked at me like I had 3 heads.
Yeah.
Why would you waste all that money doing that?
Because I want to know.
Because it can be hundreds of thousands of dollars. People don't understand. The testing is very expensive and it's time consuming and you may not get the results that you like. But I thought, I personally was not going to go to market with a product that wasn't tested.
Yeah.
That wasn't clinically proven to actually improve your skin.
And they all say that. They all say on their commercials, like.
So this is really interesting because you can have a consumer perception study versus a clinical trial. And most women aren't told, read the fine print because there's always going to be an asterisk. And so underneath of that asterisk, if it says, a consumer perception study, it just means that whoever made the product gave it to women and then they gave them a questionnaire.
And they probably, in reality, they probably gave them free product.
Probably.
Like, here, use this on your skin for 12 weeks or whatever. Probably not even that long.
And they were maybe paid.
Yeah. And then tell me, do you think it helped? And most people are going to be like, you gave it to me for free and maybe you gave me $50. And yeah, I think it did.
I think it helped. Yeah. I think my skin looks more moisturized. I think it looks better, and so the average consumer doesn't understand that they're often leading questions. And people may be incentivized to leave positive reviews.
Well, and there's so much bias there too. Like if you're in a trial, you're going to do really well at getting your makeup off every night and putting your cream on because you're in a trial to be doing that.
Yes. And so we ran an IRB reviewed third-party clinical trial, much that how you would test a drug.
Yeah.
And so I was obviously not on site for it. So I had nothing to do with it. I never met the people, so I couldn't influence them on what they were saying. And then we did expert medical grading. So we were using corneometers. We were using 2 meters. So we were testing the skin at baseline at week 4, week 8, so that we had actual measurements. And we had before and after pictures so that we knew how these products were working. So in addition to that, we also did ATRIPT, which is human repeat insult patch testing, also not required by the FDA. But I wanted to make sure that it didn't irritate sensitive skin.
Well, yeah, because you wanted to use it on your own skin.
And my skin had become increasingly sensitive. So trying to find a product that had been tested through ATRIPT was very challenging. And if I could find that product that had passed ATRIPT, then it would have questionable ingredients that I wasn't comfortable putting on my skin.
Yeah.
So it all was, how do we find something that was clean, that was proven, that was effective, that was safe for sensitive skin? And furthermore, I wanted products that were multifunctional. So I made sure that the products were safe to use around eye area, which is another test that most people don't do at all unless it's an actual eye product. But I don't want 16 layers to my skincare routine, right? I need like 2 products and I need to be out the door. I don't have time for this. Yeah. And so being able to use the face cream as an eye cream, we saw that it works and it's safe for use around your eyes.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. that it's so weird. Like, I'm sure you had moments where you were like, why doesn't this exist?
Yes.
Like, why am I the one thinking of this?
Why am I the only one caring about
well, and
these
I think
things?
Probably nobody else has the energy and tenacity to walk through all of that process. And then, like you said, it's obviously probably very expensive. And I'm sure along the way, you're probably like, oh my goodness, I'm deep down the rabbit hole at this point. So we got to finish this out.
So we have to finish this out. Yes. And get it done. And I'm so glad I spent the time and the money and the energy because I sleep well at night knowing that we have a really solid product that's very safe and has proven effective. Yeah. It's not just marketing, slick words of, trying to get women to part with their money and then never buy it again. We're looking to really help women. So
what ingredients in your products are more important to have there after menopause?
So I think
or maybe lack of.
First, ceramides, which are not necessarily some new novel ingredient. Ceramides have been around for a long time, but that is part of...
I don't even really know what a ceramide is. I just know I see that name on a box sometimes.
So your skin is like brick and mortar, right? And so it's that mortar that weakens over time. And so the ceramides help rebuild that mortar. And so that's part of rebuilding that barrier function that is decreasing as we age in those declining estrogen levels. But also so many women are using the wrong products, or they're over cleansing, they're over exfoliating because they're searching for that really smooth skin. And all of that also contributes to barrier disruption. So
and if your mortar's broken, you're never going to get to the smooth.
No,
right.
No, you're going to keep having reactions. And sometimes women like the more products that they're putting on their skin, trying to find something, the worse it gets, because you have all these products interacting on the surface of your skin. So there can be more redness, more irritation.
Yeah. Well, and I'm a big fan of Mary Claire Haver. Anybody in the menopause world knows who she is.
Yes.
But sometimes I'm like, are we like following the same pathway for our podcast? Because I swear, like a couple times we've both talked about the same thing within a couple weeks. But she did just have a plastic surgeon on her podcast talking about skin. And I was like, shoot, this was my idea. But it's fine. I mean, there's enough knowledge to go around, but they were talking about, and I just found this statistic like mind boggling, and I had to like fact check her, and obviously she was correct, but, like, is collagen loss really as dramatic as people say?
And it is. The numbers are astounding. And I think women don't understand that.
I didn't believe them when I heard them.
Really changes how your skin looks on your face.
Yeah.
So yes, normal collagen loss, about 1% per year. But first 5 years of menopause, a whopping 30%.
That's where I was like, no, immediately no. I'm going to have to look this up. But it makes sense because if you think about bones, we always quote that you lose 20% of your bone in the first 5 years. And bone and skin, like cellularly, are kind of the same, like fibroblast, all that stuff. And so I'm like, well, scientifically, okay, maybe. And then, you look it up. Sure enough, 30% of our collagen. Like, so we only have, that means like, I'm like, only have 70 left. Like, but I need to be pouring all the ceramides or whatever on them.
I think you need ceramides, and I think you need emollients. Think you need things that protect your skin and help protect against transepidural water loss, which sometimes you also see written as TEWL, TEWL. And so as we age, your skin is not only less able to make its own oil, but it's also less able to maintain its own moisture.
To like hold that
hold that oil in, and to hold that water in. So that if your skin is evaporating water all day long because you haven't put an emollient layer on your skin to help protect it, it just leads to an increase in local fine lines and wrinkles.
Is this like why older women would put just like Vaseline, or like my grandmother had this stuff that was made by Merle Norman. I don't even know if they make it anymore. It was this like red pink color, and it was like, it felt like Vaseline.
Yes. That's why
she would try to get me to put it on my skin because she thought it was going to make my skin healthy, and she didn't understand why I had so much acne. And I was like, no, please don't put that greasy stuff on my face. But I mean, she needed that on her face.
She needed that on her face. And I think women really underestimate that level of dryness that really changes between the ages of 45 and 55.
Yes.
Yes.
She was coming at me with all the emollients when I was 16.
You were probably right to run. At that age.
Yeah. Okay. So ceramides, emollient. I'm not even saying that word right.
Emollients. Like glycerin is a fantastic
okay
ingredient for skin. You see it in a lot of skincare. You see it in a lot of anti-aging skincare. It's a wonderful ingredient.
Yeah. So what will it say? Ceramide on the back of an ingredient?
Yeah, you should. Okay. Yes.
And it won't say emollient.
No, it'll say glycerin. I think now that we have, AI agents like ChatGPT, I would ask the AI agents, like, what's in this? Because you can ask them to look up the ingredients and see, like, is this good? I had somebody do this on a review that they did for me, that they weren't sure about these ingredients because we do have some really exciting and interesting ingredients like a red algae extract. And so because they didn't know, they're hard to pronounce, some of them. And so they didn't know what they were. So they fed all the ingredients into ChatGPT and said, like, what is this?
Yes. Well, I saw that on your website when I was cruising around about the red algae. I'm glad you brought that up because I meant to ask, like, what's up with the algae?
So there's a couple of different algae extracts in there, but one of them is really interesting because it works to soften fine lines and wrinkles over time. It's sometimes called Notox. And so
instead of Botox.
So it's obviously not going to work as well as Botox because it's not injected into the skin. But if you are somebody that's using Botox, the idea is that can help extend the use of your Botox so you can get a little bit more time out of it. But what it does is that it disrupts the neurotransmitters in the skin. And so that it helps interrupt that connection that says, like for the muscle contractions.
Oh, wow.
It's a really interesting ingredient.
That's so cool. What else you got in there?
So we also have vitamin C in the face oil, which if you are not using vitamin C, you absolutely need to be using vitamin C. For that. We have white truffle extract. We have...
That sounds like it'd be good to eat.
Okay, don't eat the skincare.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah. No, but they were on Mary Claire's podcast too. They were talking about vitamin C. And that was my first introduction to an oily substance on my perimenopausal skin was vitamin C. Vitamin C,
yes. And vitamin C comes in all different ranges and forms. And what a lot of people don't know is that it's not the most shelf stable ingredient. So, and you as a consumer don't know which variation of vitamin C that a contract manufacturer or brand is using. And so I searched high and low to find one that was shelf stable, that was less sensitive to light, and that could be used in an oil product safely.
Well, and your bottle is kind of
the bottle's dark,
that dark color. So the light can't affect it. Cause that's a big deal with vitamin C. And it's also weird to me that like you can find the $10 vitamin C at Target, and then you find the $180, CE ferulic, is, the one that made it famous. But like, what's the difference there?
I can't always speak to whatever each brand is using for that, but
like how is some vitamin C $10?
Just because it's a lesser grade of it,
and like it's
not
probably
stable.
It's probably not gonna do anything by the time it gets onto your face.
No, there's also, this is interesting to me from a formulation standpoint, is that there are no guidelines on how much of an ingredient must be in a product. So I can say this is a vitamin C serum, and there may be 0.05% vitamin C in there. So most people don't understand, but that the ingredients are listed just the way they are, like when you buy food, so that they must be listed in order of like how much that ingredient is in there. So it gets tricky because you actually wouldn't want vitamin C in your product at 30%, right? That's going to be too much. But if it's like the very last thing, you might question that. How much is it really in there doing?
Yeah, but nobody's going to list out the percentage.
No, and nobody does because typically that's proprietary information for each brand.
Yeah, that's so crazy because, these are things, to be honest, we're just walking down the aisle at Ulta or wherever, and it's basically a marketing. Who has the best marketing team?
Yes. And so typically that one that has that vitamin C serum that's $180 probably has enough vitamin C in it to actually help your skin.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to make decisions with any of the rest of my healthcare off of like who is the best at marketing, because like if we were doing that, like birth control pills and all of that would probably win out on like who knows more about what and who's more readily available, but that's not the best.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. Or some big pharma brand name drug, but that might not be the best.
No, they just have the best marketing team because they can afford it.
Because they can afford it. So it turns out the same thing with skincare is you really need to know the science behind it. That's why I think this is so interesting, because not only were you like, I want to make a product, but you had to dig down and learn all this stuff about the science behind it.
I did, because I actually went back to school to become an organic skincare formulator. Because I wanted to know, right? Because I thought, okay, my skin is changing, and I had tried all these products and nothing was working, and I was confused and I was done wasting money. Like I was annoyed, right? Like every time, I think a lot of women relate to this. Like you go and you find this new product and you're so excited about it and you try it and you're like, it didn't really do anything. So I decided to become
but I'm going to use it because I paid $100 for it.
Like I want it to work. And so that's part of the reason that led me to become a skincare formulator, so that I understood.
Where do you do that?
So it's online where you can take courses for that. And it was a 2-year program. It was really intense.
It sounds like the organic chemistry lab all over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting course. I learned so much about ingredient research and emulsifiers and preservation systems and how do you create skincare that like isn't going to go moldy and isn't going to poison people's skin and all of those sorts of things. And at the end of that, for me, it really gave me enough information to be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it, right? Because you can't learn skincare formulation in 2 years and be an expert. And so that led me on a search to find the best cosmetic chemists in the country and say, okay, this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
These are all the ingredients that I want in it. And these are all the ingredients that I will absolutely not tolerate. So the FDA regulations for ingredients in the United States are pretty lax compared to the EU, which bans well over 1,000 ingredients. And so I said, we are going to formulate for EU standards from the beginning.
And this is what's coming down, I feel like has been made popular on the news by like RFK about taking crap out of our foods.
Right.
Which probably isn't a bad idea. So it's like the same thing with get the crap out of our products.
Correct.
Yeah.
It shouldn't necessarily be there in the first place. And a lot of that stuff is very cheap or easily accessible, or it's filler. It's not really necessarily doing anything to help our skin. So there's no reason to have it in there.
So your stuff is what would be legal in Europe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which took extra time to formulate for.
Mm-hmm.
And so I worked for years with cosmetic chemists trying to get it just right. I wanted a specific texture. And it also had to be fragrance free. Most people don't understand that a lot of skincare's fragrance is because those ingredients smell horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. So that fragrance in there is not only disrupting your barrier function, it's certainly not contributing to it, but that it's also covering up something that smells terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to formulate with no fragrance is its own challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a difference between fragrance free and unscented. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's confusing, right? Well, it's unscented. There's no fragrance, right?
Right.
No. Unscented just means that there's necessarily no detectable fragrance.
That our ingredients didn't smell so bad we had to put fragrance in there?
That's what it is. We put a fragrance in there to cover up the horrible smelling ingredients. It's just called unscented.
Mm. But if it's just fragrance free, then it's just we used stuff that may or may not have been quality, but it didn't stink.
Correct. So to create something that's fragrance free so that when you open it and you smell it and it is not horrible is a much harder challenge. But that's what we did.
Yeah. That's amazing. So how long, this gets into like the building of your brand, but how long did it take to go from like, there's a problem here, I don't have what I need to put on my skin, I'm tired of buying all this, to I'm a menopause coach and an organic or
skincare formulator. I also became a trained aromatherapist. Because I was like, I'm going to use all these essential oils and they're going to be so great for our skin and soothing our central nervous system, only to realize that essential oils can actually be dermal allergens.
Oh.
So we're trying to help this very sensitive skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought essential oils actually aren't necessarily helping. So it took me 4.5 years. It was a long time.
I was going to say, how have you done all that? Like how, did it not take you 15 years to do all that, but it only took you 4.5 years?
Well, as perimenopausal women don't sleep very well.
Yeah. So, you were just up at night.
I would get up at like 4 a.m. because I just couldn't sleep and I would just work.
That's awesome though. And I mean, yeah, it would be interesting to like sit someone from L'Oreal or wherever down and ask them like, how did they go through all these same processes? I mean, it would be interesting to know that answer.
I would welcome the conversation. If anybody can hook me up with somebody at L'Oreal, please.
If anyone from L'Oreal is listening, doesn't L'Oreal owns, I think, SkinCeuticals, don't they?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Or Skin Better. I feel like they own one of those. I only know this because my mother-in-law used to work at the L'Oreal like sample store or whatever, and they sold those products. I want to say Skin Better. Anyways, people from L'Oreal know some things. And so,
absolutely. Yes. So
I would love to hear though, if they had gone through all of these processes.
I doubt it. Although I don't know. I don't work for L'Oreal. So I can't say. But most...
Or like, how would you go through all these processes and only charge $10 for your skincare? I mean, it does make you understand why quality skincare is also expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women don't understand that.
Yeah.
That to go through all that testing to really make sure that it's clean and it's safe and it's proven.
Like someone was sitting up in their bedroom at 4:00 in the morning, making sure that it was safe to go on your skin and it didn't smell bad.
And it didn't smell bad. And it was not an endocrine disruptor. And I would go through each ingredient with a fine tooth comb. And I would look to see if there were clinical trials behind any of the ingredients. And I would look to see where they were in the INCI list to make sure that they were accepted ingredients to use internationally. And I would check to see all the notes are ridiculous that I have that it took.
So awesome
for this, because it was like, how do I make sure that that's safe? And then all of the active botanicals that I chose also had clinical trial data behind the individual ingredient. And then when we combine those ingredients into our product, then we also ran clinical trials. So tested to make sure it works.
Well, and I guess just tell us like about Phosis, because I know, I mean, people are hearing this and they're like, where is Phosis? Where can I buy Phosis? What kind of product? I know we've talked about that you have an oil and you have a cream, but like, are those the only two? Are there going to be more?
There is definitely more. It's so exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next product that we have coming out is a radiance serum. And so it's a hyaluronic acid based serum. So that is really great for plumping and firming skin, especially because the skin is so dry. It needs some of that support, but it helps to target that hyperpigmentation, those age spots that women see on their skin. So it fades existing spots. And then it also helps prevent new spots from forming.
Yes, the spots are a problem.
The spots are a problem. They're the one thing that really can help like age the look of skin, right? Like if you look at young women in their 20s, their skin is so clear.
I know, like my daughter's skin.
Right.
It's just
Mine
so
too.
pretty. Yes. And also, I didn't know this until just recently because like I'm not good at getting tan anymore. I'm not good at like sitting in the sun and getting tan.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah. I get sunspots now. So I try to stay out of the sun and cover up and wear all the SPF and all things. But like sometimes you just want to have a tan. I'm not going to lay in tanning bed, obviously. No. So I'm like, I get a spray tan. Well, spray tan makes your age spots darker. It like attracts to them.
Yes.
So like, I mean, these age spots are a whole situation. So if we could, figure out how to make those go away.
So we've got a product coming out. It's our next one coming to market. And then beyond that, we have an oil cleanser because women do not need to be washing their face with soap because it's already so dry. Why do you want to further strip it? Yeah. So when you're younger, you do want those more aggressive cleansers, right? Because we're worried about acne. But as we get older and those oil receptors are not making as much oil or those oil glands are not making as much oil, you don't want to be stripping it with a very aggressive cleanser.
Yeah. But you can only buy Phosis, I mean, from your website right
From the
now.
website right now. Yes.
Yeah.
And like on Amazon.
On
it is
Amazon?
on Amazon. We're just having problems with our Amazon store right now. So that's a whole other wild thing that when you're an entrepreneur, you have to do everything yourself. And so sometimes you run into problems. So our Amazon store is unfortunately shut down right now, not through any fault of my own. So we're working to getting that back up. But yeah, so you can buy at phosis.com, PHOSIS.com, and on Amazon.
Yeah, that's awesome. I also feel like you should just go stand in Sephora and be like, excuse me, but I am a skin chemist and I've done all this stuff. And what are you buying? And why are you buying that?
Right. You should be buying this instead.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Okay. And then you have to tell us about Oprah's favorite things because, I had to look into this a little bit. Oprah's daily inaugural Menopause O Awards in 2025 awarded Phosis the Calm Deep Hydration Restorative Cream that you have, the one that like in the little canister that is the cream, won Best Night Cream.
Best night cream.
I love it. And so I had to like dig into this, that Oprah uses these awards to daily like highlight. She highlighted the use of red algae and ceramides and noted that it was rich in deeply hydrating without feeling greasy. And that is so true. It does not, it feels like very creamy and you can tell it's moisturizing because it's not greasy, because I'm big on like the grease thing from back in my greasy days. And she said that made it particularly appealing for menopausal skin. The Oprah Daily Midlife Beauty CEO Awards are awarded recognizing products specifically chosen for women in midlife, particularly those experiencing perimenopause and menopause. And it has a panel of dermatologists, menopause experts, beauty editors, and women's health advocates. And they evaluate products for concerns common during this stage of life, such as dryness, collagen loss, sensitivity, thinning, and barrier dysfunction. So, it's like Mary Claire Haver. No one disagrees with her, and no one's going to disagree with Oprah.
No. So,
so that's amazing. Like, how did Oprah find Phosis?
It was really quite a shock how we even won the award.
Yeah.
But beauty editors are a really tight-knit group of people, and it really comes down to your network and who you know.
Yeah.
I work with this wonderful PR agent here in town who has worked in the skincare industry for decades.
Yeah.
And so we together put together a huge PR trip, and we went to New York and we met with every major beauty editor for every publication, every online digital store. And so I didn't even know that the awards were a thing, but I was put in contact with one of those editors for the women at Oprah. And they were so impressed with the story, and they were so impressed with the product. And just as one woman who was willing to take on the entire anti-aging skincare industry.
I mean, it is impressive. I agree with you, Oprah editor.
We're a challenger brand. We're like, hey, there's got to be something better for women. We don't have to settle for this anti-aging stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so they were so impressed by that they decided to give us a chance and give us the award, which was just unheard of. Little known brands.
Did they just tell you on the spot, or did they?
Oh, no. I didn't even know that the awards existed when I met with this editor.
Oh.
I didn't even know that was a thing. So it was a complete shock when I got an email 5 months later.
Yeah.
By the way, you won.
And you're like,
what?
I won?
Just happened. Because they can choose any brand that they want, right? The big brands, the well-known brands, the ones that are trending. And we had just launched with our first products. So we were new. And
so do you think Oprah uses Phosis?
I would love to think that she does.
I think, yeah, she probably does. I mean, why wouldn't she?
Why wouldn't she?
Yeah. So where were you? You were just checking your email, just random, like normal Tuesday. And
I was at lunch, actually, at Samantha's.
Oh.
And so I had just randomly stopped to check my email at the end of lunch and got the email and just teared up. I was speechless. It was a huge, tremendous moment for me, because I have been working so hard, and you work a bit in a vacuum as an entrepreneur, right? Like just head down, like keep going. And so to have somebody really highlight it and say, yes, this is a thing that is much needed, and it's fabulous.
And then did they, I mean, I don't ever see the Oprah show. I feel like it comes on at odd times when I'm at work, maybe.
I don't know. I'm also at work.
Yeah.
So there was not a show that I am aware of where she highlighted.
Or like on her website.
It's on her website.
Yeah. And then did your sales blow up?
Of course.
After, I would think so.
Yes. I mean, how could they not?
Yeah.
So that was also really exciting.
Yeah. Or is it like a problem from like production standpoint? Like, oh shoot, I didn't know this many people were going to buy this. We need a bunch more of it.
We were okay in that situation.
Yeah.
But yes, that absolutely can happen if you
like
blow up and go viral.
Red algae.
But there's right. Because most people don't understand it can take us between 4 and 6 months to do a production run.
Yeah.
4 and 6 months. And so like for our last production run, one of the manufacturers sent the wrong ingredient from Italy.
Oh.
So we had waited over 3 weeks for the ingredient, and then it got caught in customs. And then by the time it showed up, it was the wrong one. Yeah. So that moved us back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes a long time to make a production run. So you have to, forecast and be aware of that.
Yeah. So that, I feel like these are questions like that you hear them talk about on Shark Tank. Like these people got these massive orders, but we haven't been able to fill them yet, or these kinds of things. So I heard from my friend, Dr. Hernsberger, that you might have a Shark Tank connection.
Yes, I might have a Shark Tank connection. And unfortunately, per the rules of Shark Tank, you can't speak about it.
Oh.
So I'm actually not able to say anything.
We talk about Mark Cuban all the time because of the Cost Plus Pharmacy. So I feel like we should have an in, and I feel like she needs to go on Shark Tank if anyone cares what Hump Day Hormones has to say about it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. I think for me, the exciting part about the whole Shark Tank experience is that they're willing to look at a menopausal brand.
Yeah.
What does that mean for menopausal women?
Well, I mean, I don't even know who are the Shark Tank people now, but who was she's the real estate agent. Barbara. Yes. I mean, Barbara, it seems like would be
yes.
a good, and then Lori.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how old Lori's beautiful. So she's clearly doing something right with her. I mean, both of them are clearly doing something right with their skin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think they need to know about Phosis.
I mean, can men use Phosis? Can we get Mark Cuban?
They can actually.
Yeah.
There's no hormones in it. So there's nothing in it that
Mr. Wonderful needs.
He needs some Phosis, doesn't he?
He needs some Phosis.
He needs it for, you can use it on the top of your head.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so there's nothing in it that would preclude a man from using it.
No, and interestingly enough, my daughter's boyfriend has a very, very dry skin.
Yes, where you use this.
He loves it.
Does he?
Yes, he loves it. He's 20.
He probably doesn't want to tell any of his
He
friends.
doesn't, so I'm not going to say his name, but
yeah.
he's very sweet. But
I love that. Well, and I think what I would say maybe is the biggest thing you have learned from this process.
I think for me is that I had no idea how much I was going to have to learn about so many different things. And, from marketing to web design to user experience to SEO to email campaigns to social media to all these things that you have to do. And at every turn, you're going to run into problems. And you're not going to know how to solve them. And so what is your resilience and your capacity to keep going, to keep finding the answers? Because things are going to go wrong. Things are going to take much longer than you think. And everything is going to cost more money than you planned for. So you have to plan for all of that and then somehow maintain your mental health.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be working all the time.
Yeah. I mean, this is the podcast is much smaller scale than I'm going to invent an entire product and scientifically test it and launch it and get ingredients. And I mean, we're nowhere near that kind of scale. I mean, we're going to order some microphones off Amazon and record ourselves talking about some stuff. But that has been, I mean, so I commend you because I wouldn't say I'm an entrepreneur, but I mean, we did do something that is not being done as a gynecologist in this area. And that's been hard. And we have run into problems.
Yes. Same with me. I keep running into problems. No very large retailer is interested because they're you haven't been on the market long enough or, whatever their rationale is. They don't always tell you. So it's trying to get women to understand that you are investing in your skin. And there's a reason that this costs the price that it does because it's so tested. It's so safe. It does work. And that these 2 products replace 6.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And so, you are always going to get what you pay for in a way.
You do, I think.
And then you're well, I just keep going back to, it's not as much as C. ferulic.
It's not as much as that. Yes. It's interesting that people that have used really expensive brands and then they try my products, they go, wow, you should have charged more for this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I'm sure as you are just trying to break into that market, you can't outprice yourself, but at some point you will probably bring that demand. I think it's fun to end with some fast fire questions, just right off the bat answers. So what do you think is the most underrated skincare ingredient?
Acetohexapeptide.
What the heck is that?
That's the one I was talking about earlier that helps. I didn't call it by the name. I think I got confused and called it an algae extract. But in perimenopausal, my brain fog is for real. But that's the one that helps.
Okay, say it again.
Acetohexapeptide 8, and so you can also find that under the trade name Argiline.
Okay, and that helps your mortar.
No, those are the ceramides.
Okay,
the acetohexapeptide 8 is the one that helps soften muscle contractions over time.
Oh, like the Botox extender.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah. Well, you're using it.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I mean, that's the problem is you look on the back of these boxes and there's 8 miles long of all the words you don't know.
Right.
But now we do. Okay. And the most overrated skincare trends.
I've got 2 of them right now. double cleansing, which I think is so awful for women in their 50s.
Just wash all your barrier and all your moisture off.
And then because you'll know if your skin feels really tight after you've washed it, that was more aggressive of a cleanser than you needed. And then also the slugging or the glugging, like where you're just coating your face in Vaseline.
Right.
I don't think that's so great either.
Right. I didn't know people still did that. I thought that was just my grandma.
No.
People still do it. Okay.
People still do it.
I feel like we talked a lot about this, but Botox or skincare first?
I'm going to say skincare first, like address the foundation.
Yes.
Address the foundation. And then if you still want the Botox, get the Botox.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with Botox, but don't just paint over your pet hair on the, on the baseboards. Fix the foundation. One thing every menopausal woman should do for their skin.
Barrier repair, 100%. Barrier repair. Yeah. Strengthening, you're strengthening your muscles and your bones. Why are you not strengthening your skin?
Yeah, because you're losing 30% of your collagen in the first 5 years of menopause, which you don't get to choose. Like, well, I'm just not going to go through menopause then. I'll just keep that 30%. Nope. You're going to go through, everybody is going to go through it. I mean,
this is not optional, unfortunately.
This is not optional. Yeah. You're coming out with some more that sound like that they might be on the list too, but your favorite Phosis product?
By far the Calm Deep Hydration Restorative Cream.
Yeah.
Yes. There was so much time and energy put into making that something really special and unique and effective.
Yeah. I mean, I love both of them. I've been using both of your products that are out right now, and I love both of them, but that cream is very nice. I've said it. It just feels like so smooth and kind of not greasy, but milky in a way. It's so nice. And it's like your baby.
It is. But can you talk about the face oil? Because I think so many women don't understand, why would I put a face oil? Yeah. And they think like face oil is like heavy or but this one is really has a different texture, I think.
Yeah. It's like, it's not, so I have used like the CE ferulic that we've been talking about. I've used that. I've used cheap vitamin C for $10. I mean, because you're like, what the heck? I'm just going to try them all. I've used lots of face oils, and some of them feel oily, like your makeup goes over them because it's oily. This feels more, it is still an oil. I don't mean to sound this bad, but it feels more watery, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Because it's less oily feeling, but it is still moisturizing feeling.
Yes. And that's what I think women don't understand is
but
that
it's
like
thinner.
Yes. I call it a featherweight oil.
Yes.
So that it does sink down into your skin somewhat. It's still going to be protective. It's still going to help with transepidural water loss, but like you're not going to look like you've been sweating all day long because it mixes beautifully with foundation. It's really good for facial massage. It's also really good for your cuticles. I use it in my hair for my flyaway hairs, but like it's so potent that you only need like 1 or 2 drops for your entire face.
And the bottle is big, I will say.
Yes.
From comparing it to other like companies and stuff. I mean, the bottle, I was like, oh, this is a good size.
It's going to last you. Yeah. It's going to last you a while.
I could see that bottle probably lasting at least 6 months.
Most women go somewhere between 6 to 10 months per bottle.
Yeah, I could see that because it was bigger than I expected.
And I think also is that the number one ingredient in that product is jojoba oil, which most closely mimics our own skin sebum. Yeah. So your skin really recognizes this product as something that is natural and effective.
I mean, listen, I've come a long way since the Noxzema Clear Soul pads. And so, but I know the acne prone person is probably like, I don't have an oil on my skin. I have not broken out. I mean, I've been using it since you gave them to me, like maybe three weeks ago or something. And I have not broken out. And
your skin looks fabulous.
Thanks. And I do have makeup on, but not a lot. I mean, I just have like my powder, my kind of foundation powder stuff. But I mean, I have not had any different, zits or whatever that I wouldn't have had before since I've been using this.
Okay. And can you feel the cooling extract when you put it on your skin? Okay.
It feels nice. And especially now that it's summer, like if you get too much sun, it feels really nice.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah. I love it. So we talked about what's next for Phosis. We've got a hyaluronic acid.
We have 2 hyaluronic acid-based serums. So one of them is a phytoretinol. So it's using a plant-based retinol-like ingredient.
Okay.
One of them is bakuchiol that we're using, which is trending really well to be as effective as a retinol. And then we've got some other microalgae extracts in there.
Okay.
And then we also have the Radiance Provitamin Serum that I spoke about earlier. Then we've got an oil cleanser, and then we have this fabulous toner. Women don't understand the need for toner, but you need to wear a toner underneath a hyaluronic acid based serum. Should not put HA serums on dry skin.
Okay.
Because it will actually pull the moisture from your skin and make your skin look a little bit worse. So you want to apply those on damp skin so that it pulls the moisture from the dampness.
I haven't ever understood a toner, really.
Well, typically a toner is used that if you have stripped your skin from overwashing it, then you've disrupted the pH because soap has a different pH of what your skin is. And so a toner typically back in the day would have helped reset the pH of your skin to avoid further disruptions. So today, I think a toner is absolutely important for those HA serums. They can also be a part of an effective cleansing routine. So if you did your oil cleanser, because those are less aggressive cleansers, if you needed a little bit more, you could do a toner after that and wipe it off. But this toner it's a peppermint orange hydrosol. So it's not the essential oil part. It's the leftover water from the distillation process. So it's very subtly scented, but it doesn't have the same level of dermal allergens in it. So it's safe for sensitive skin. And so it's a nice cooling thing, especially for us women in perimenopause and menopause. We get our hot flashes. So you can just mist it when you're feeling a little bit warm.
This is amazing. I mean, you are so smart and so driven, and I mean, have come up with a solution and have obviously killed it on the way, like with Oprah and potentially Shark Tank and all the things. So I can't wait. I mean, if it is really on Shark Tank, I like literally want to go to the
I'll keep you posted
to the air when they video it. I literally want to be there. But I think one of the biggest takeaways from our conversation is that the changes women experience in their skin during perimenopause and menopause are real. They are biologically driven, and they are not simply a matter of like, well, this is just what my skin has to look like when I get older. You know?
No, absolutely not. People think like, oh, I'm just old, so I'm going to have wrinkly and dull, dry skin. And that's not true. You don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, you are going to get older. That's going to happen. And biologically, your estrogen is going to decline, and you are going to like lose, things in your skin that keep it moisturized and have a barrier. We're going to lose our mortar. All of those things are going to happen, but we don't have to just like sit back and let it happen. And
no, because it's not necessarily a question of more moisturizer. It's very much about the right moisturizer, but we know that we can replenish hydration and we can restore the glow to menopausal skin.
I love it. So hormone shifts affect collagen production, hydration, elasticity, and the skin barrier itself, which means our skin needs often change right along with our hormones. So you can't keep using your Noxzema and all your benzoyl peroxide. You got to change that plan, just like you're changing your hormone plan. I mean, you've probably never thought about taking bioidentical progesterone either.
Right. Yeah. It's you're changing everything else. This is the time to change your skin.
You've never thought about, like, as the PCOS girl, I'm going to take testosterone. Like, what is happening? Like, I've been fighting testosterone my whole life. I've been told I had too much of that. Now, so lots of things are just changing. I think we just have to lean in. We can't fight it. We have to lean in and learn how to do that better. So today we learned that caring for menopausal skin isn't just about chasing youth and saying that we want to be younger, or it's better to be younger or have younger looking skin. It's about supporting our skin health and kind of keeping that moat healthy. I loved hearing the story behind Phosis and your journey from identifying what wasn't there and what we currently have to creating this award-winning brand recognized by Oprah. I mean, like, it's just so cool that we as people are capable of doing that kind of stuff.
Especially
I think of that being like L'Oreal, the big corporation. Of course, they're capable of doing that. They're a giant multi-billion-dollar company, but like, You right here in Little Rock. We're capable of doing that. And that's so cool.
Thank you.
Cool. It's inspiring to see innovation focused specifically on women in midlife. Obviously, that's my passion. And that's a group that's overlooked in both medicine. We've talked about that ad nauseum, and it's overlooked in skincare as well. I mean, people are just trying to force us to be 25 forever.
And I don't want that.
It ain't going to happen. Even if we did want it, it ain't going to happen. So to our listeners, remember that healthy aging isn't about perfection. It's about understanding your body, making informed choices, and finding tools or products that help you feel your best at every stage of life. So please follow along with us on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then Susan and Phosis are on Instagram.
Yeah. So we're at, we've got 2 channels. We've got Phosis.skincare for the Phosis line. And then I have my also channel, Super Susan Campbell, which is a bit of a joke, but
yes, I love it. So follow us both. Email us your questions, humpdayhormones@gmail.com.